Hello and welcome to this beginner tutorials for the Vue. So what we're going to do is create a simple terrain, but if you're not familiar with Vue, it's a great place to start for you to learn how the Vue operated, going through all steps of this. We'll try to keep this in a short time, but at the same time we'll showing some elements. You can create this image that you will be proud to put it on your social media or a background on your desktop. And this is straight out image. Of course, we can go to work on some elements like terrains, atmospheres, ecosystem, but it will keeping a little bit simpler so you don't get lost and just enjoying create terrains inside the Vue. So let's go ahead and start beginning working on this. So let's start beginning working with Vue. And I know in the beginning it's maybe will be complex with all these different menus, windows, workplaces, but it was just put it hands-on and start working. We can create a very nice scenery in a short time. So let's go ahead first by beginning placing our terrains. And on a left bar, right here toolbar, you'll find we'll have it high field terrains. If you click and hold, it will expand to different terrains, but all what I recommend to use right now is just high field terrains. So let's click and create one. Zoom out by using your scroll wheel and adjusting terrain by placing it up front of the camera. So let's modify a little bit shape of our terrain, and we can do this by right click and selecting edit object. So right here you can notice we have all these options. Again, don't be afraid or overwhelmed with them. For now, we again will use it presets located on the left side. These presets will allow us to create all these different type of terrains with just one click. What I'm going to use it is simple peaks, and if you look around, and again you can use Alt or Option, hold down key, left click with your mouse, and you can rotate around to preview. So right here we have our peaks, and I think it's look nice. If I don't like it, I can click again several times till I find one shape what is looking good. And this is done by creating random seed, so it's always the random terrain it will create for us. When we're done, let's click OK, and right here we have it, our terrain is placed. So let's do this a couple more times. So again, we'll go create new terrain. We'll place a little bit on the side, create one more time, and just drag and place it. Again, we'll go to right click, edit our object, and for now we'll just use it same peaks. So let's click OK on this one, click, edit object, and select the peaks. So at this point we have our three terrains done. We'll take our first terrain, and if you notice you have these handles around like these bounding boxes and all this icon changing, so we actually can modify shape of our terrain. We can always modify inside the object properties by going rotation, size, twist, and all this, but we also can do in our view, and that's what we're going to move our mouse on top and scale down. So it will make a little bit flatter, but that's what I wanted. I want this terrain be kind of up front of our camera. We also take our camera, and by using the handles or a drop box, we can just increase slightly up, and using in our camera control, we can twist it on top. Again, you can go ahead and explore a little bit more of these properties, how you can adjust it, but overall we just position our camera a little bit above our terrain so we can preview, see our terrains on the back. Some of them is hiding, if you notice this one. So let's use the same binding box just to click and stretch, so it will increase in a size. We'll do this for 1 and 2 for those terrains, make them taller. However, they're not tall enough, so to make them a little bit higher, we'll just go on the top and stretch up. If previous terrain we take down to make flatten, this one I'll just want to increase a little bit up. So we'll select another terrain and bring up as well. And you can see in our main preview, now we have interesting terrains like back mountain. But we can also stretch them. So if we select and stretch them on the side, let's readjust. So we'll stretch and make this long mountain ridges. So let's stretch this and move a little bit away. So at this point, we have those mountains on background. Again, if we look on our first terrain, it looks like a little bump on the middle. So I don't necessarily want that bump, so I move it a little bit to the side and a little bit stretch. So now we have a hill that will going from the left down to the right. Okay, it's look very nice original shapes. Now it's time to work a little bit on materials. To do this, we'll select terrain, for example, front terrain, and going inside our object aspect and object properties. And you notice on the side, we have all these icons. What are we interesting? You just click on load materials. Let's select that. And if we're going, we'll see you have all tabs on the top, basic, landscape, ecosystem. So we'll have all of these different types. One I'm interested in a tab, the label landscapes. And landscapes, you're probably a bit on top. And if you go down, you have a terrainscape. So it's a lot of different terrains. We'll stick with a landscape at this point, and we'll go select vegetation. So let's click, and you notice it is applied this to our terrain. So now we have a very nice green cover. So let's modify those two terrains. Also, if you select one terrain, hold down Shift and select second. Now we have a two terrains selected. And if we're going preload material, same click on a button, and we'll go just select probably hills, winds. Let's see where we have it. Natural, select. Let's select grass and rock. And if we select this one, you'll notice that this will apply to both our terrains at the same time. So you can apply and change materials on a multiple object at the same time when you select them multiple. So at this point, let's go select back our original terrain that up front of us. And to open also material editor, we can just double time click on this icon. That will bring us to material editor. First time when you open, you probably will see this menu, which says basic material editor. What I want to recommend you to do is switch to advanced material editor by clicking on the button called advanced material editor. That will be expanded, and we'll just drag side to make it bigger. And notice now we have way more options we can modify and adjust. Okay, first things what I want to do, look right here, scale, it says 0.13. So we'll go and click this 1. So we'll have it 1 scale. Okay, next what I want to do is take our bump map, which is quite a bit strong, and reduce. So reducing 0.01, we can just type in. It's making it a bit smoother for us. Next, I want to put it plants on top. So let's do this by creating a new layer, and we can go to the right side over icon which says add layer, and it will add additional layer. When it's add by default, it says a simple material, and we'll want drop down menu and select ecosystem and particles. So let's go select this one. You'll notice how it's changed all properties. One is important for us. We have it now in general tab, options to add additional items. So let's go ahead, click add, and we'll say add plant. This will open for us library of the plants. Some of those plants is available, some is not. And the icon right here is mentioned they will require purchase or download it. So we'll go in a tree tab, and we'll just use it to one plants that we already have it. So I'm going to use large European ash. When you click, it's take time to upload it. And when we create terrain, I would recommend for you to mix it. So just don't use it one specific plant, use it multiple different plants. So this will give it natural, this kind of chaotic little bit look. So again, we'll go add item, add plants, and we'll select maybe, even different color yellow. Let's again add plant. This time we'll select additional plant. Let's go again, add plant. And I think we could select blue spruce, some different type. Let's go ahead, add more plant, and we'll add multiple plants. And this is smaller one, alter, so we'll go use it those ones as well. We'll go edit this plant. Let's go another one and add different color. So it's a fall, autumn, different coloring. At this point, we already have very good collections. We don't necessarily need to go over all the settings inside. However, I have a tutorial so you can look over them if you're interested in going details. And this time, what I want to do is just click populate. And as we click populate, you'll notice right now we have all of these plants populating our terrain. Look how many of them. Okay, so they're populating, and it's quite a bit extensively. They look very good. However, they may be a little bit too tall for what I want to do. Nice things about Vue, we can modify density and scaling. And notice these tabs. Now we do have it because we're in advanced mode. I can click on a scaling, And right here where it says what size I want it, I can bring this down to maybe 1.7 around this. And if we click populate again, notice they make much smaller. Okay, it's same things. If we want to decrease, we can even go smaller. Click again populate, and it's make them smaller even more. One thing to keep in mind when we do this, our population and polygons is increasing because it is smaller size, and we will populate it with more plants. So let's go ahead, click OK. We'll take our camera at this point, and I want to just take a camera and maybe move slightly around just to get a better look on what we have. So right there, I think we have a nice preview of the terrain. Okay, let's go just adjust maybe like right here. And we have our two background mountains. Okay, let's select our terrain on the back. And it does look kind of interesting, but I think we may be losing a little bit on the coloring. So I'm going to take down this terrain and increase a little bit back terrain. Okay, oops, not drag up, just increase size. So it's kind of going stick a little bit up. And again, maybe this hill should be on the side. What we can do, we can go on the side, select our rotation, and you can see how icon change to rotation. Hold down shift, click on shift key, and as we're rotating, it's now locking. So it will help me to rotate precisely 90 degrees when I want it. And now I have it a little bit more interesting looking for my terrain. Okay, let me adjust this way. And I think, you know what, they may be a little bit too bright. So let's select those two terrains. We assigned one material, but I actually want change now. And it's easy to do by clicking select down. And right here we have it also rock grass. So we'll select this black one kind of. And notice now it's become a little bit darker on a back, which is, I think, more looking on the mountains. Let's go next. Now we can start on atmosphere and adjusting our sun position. Before we do this, I want to go inside the main camera, select the object, right click and go to edit object. It will open camera, advanced camera options. Right here have it after exposure, like uncheck this box. It will keep us to have it same lighting without adjusting. Most important, when we start working with sunset or other properties, it will help a lot. Let's click OK. And now we're ready to work with atmosphere. Let's select sun, and we'll take a sun and move on the back right behind a little bit of the mountains right here. We'll go to create what they call golden hour. It will have a very nice, beautiful, glowing atmosphere. We can bring sun a little bit even more down, slightly on the side to create better shadows, like around here. And I'll give it a few seconds till it's refreshing our view. And you can see we already have a nice haze and cover. So let's go now in atmosphere, and we'll go by, we can press F4 or we'll select atmosphere editor. And in atmosphere editor, you'll notice we have it all properties. What we need interesting mostly it's a cloud, light, clouds, and sky and fog. We'll keep it right now, atmosphere model as photometric spectral, but we'll switch to sky fog. We'll increase decay amount, pop up. That will be bring a little bit more yellowish in our sky to creating more kind of sunsetish. It's what I'm going after. And we'll also take aerial perspective and increase to about maybe 5, 6. We'll add additional haze in atmosphere kind of distance. So it will add this glowing and creating dimensions for our far look. Okay, as we do this, let's go take fog, increase a little bit on a fog to about 26%, a little bit on a haze. And this is glowing proper. Again, it's too many sliders. Sometimes you can get confused, but overall we'll just keep it as default. And let's go inside the lights. And right inside the lights, I want to click and edit color for our ambient color. And I will just bring a little bit saturation in for that. So it will bring a little bit more coloring and in our scenery. And you can see it's look now nice purplish look. I'm not necessarily like the sun poking out, so let's go close this. And I just move sun a little bit off the screen. So right here, and you'll see will disappear sun on our preview, but we still have it nice glowing. I do want a little bit more maybe glowing on the sun. And let me bring sun slightly down. We'll go back to Atmosphere Editor. And nice things actually about Atmosphere, it's where you start playing with all this lighting and adjustments. So remember, Sky, Fog, and Haze tab, right here, Glow Intensity. First, it's allowed our sun glowing. So if I took it and pop up all the way high to 73, you'll notice how this corner right here will start glowing more because our sun get more glowing. So we could increase this way. And that's what we do. We'll just pop up slightly. But also scattering, we can increase just a little bit, and it will spread lighting slightly out. So this way we have a nice coloring going all the way. Let's go now in clouds and add few clouds. We'll go inside and click on a load, and in load we'll go select maybe big camelus. You can play around with all these clouds, don't be scared, just adjusting. And when you select one, you can see clouds appear instantly. And most of them already have a very nice preset. So what we need to do, we can modify a little bit details. We can bring them up and down closer. Beside modifying with properties, you can also just go inside the scenery and bring, if you want, your cloud, bring up, down. You can see, increase how tall those mountain clouds layers is. So we can modify those as well. And we also can add a little bit more details for them. Maybe let's go ahead, increase a bit details, and let's take altitude variation. Altitude variation is applied to the top, so it will be more right in those areas. And because I want to see maybe more on altitude variation, I take cover and just reduce cover. Cover is how many clouds put it in our. And you can see we have very beautiful clouds, very nice coloring going, all this kind of purplish interesting color. Okay, and I think this is about right. We can increase a little bit on the shadows, so it will cost, but overall I just will maybe leave it one layer. We could add additional layer, and let's do this. We'll just select maybe thick camelus, but with this layer I want modified. I want actually tell opacity 100%, but I want set density to 0.1, very low density, actually maybe 1%, so we can have it. It just add a little bit this haziness to the top, and in this case, to see them, we'll select again big camelus, our first ones, and reduce down to maybe 56. So we'll have a little bit more opening in the sky, and we can see those higher clouds that we added. So it will add a little bit more complexity. Couple more things. Let's look right here in our sky, fog, and haze. We could work more with global. But what I want to do is take quality and set least quality to the 0, because if we have it lower quality, our clouds will look very grainy. We will see those dots because it won't render. The higher quality will produce much better image, but it will take time to render. Okay, so when we've done this, now let's pop up a little bit more on ground fog. I want add it a little bit more to the distance, and the fog will add this little bit white layer kind of to the distance right to the end. Okay, as well on the lighting, ambient lighting, you know what, let's go just to set not maybe as saturated, maybe around here, I think something like that, a little bit more desaturated and darker, so it won't be the purplish like we see, but it will add a little bit warmer color. So we'll go click OK on this. And it'll take a second. And you can see right now we have a more natural look. Less a natural purple, but we have a blue color and other things. I think we're ready to render our first scenery we created inside the Vue. To do this, we'll just go to render, right click, which is open our render options. And I want to be sure it's set final at least. It will have it better processing. I want to render to screen so we can preview, and I'm going to render the HD resolution. You can also select your custom resolution as you need it, but for the purpose of the tutorial, it's what we're going to do. Let's go click OK and click on the render. So this render may take a little bit time because we have nice volumetric clouds. I'm going to pause this tutorial and resume when the render is completed. Okay, so right here is our render done, and you can see it took about 24-25 minutes to render inside the view, and it is our first scenery. And it's good enough. You can actually put it on a background on your desktop to create your background that you just created inside the view. So what's going from this point, what I recommend you to do, it is going to Geekatplay website, where I have a lot of video tutorials, and specifically on the view. So if you're going inside the view, I have literally thousands of tutorials, cover all subjects of the view. Most of them you can access for free, almost all of them. And you can also, if you like tutorials or you want access to some that is paid tutorials for free as well, you can become Patreon support on the website for me. So I have it special for all my tier supporters, have it a free access to the tutorials. You also can go forward and to my YouTube channel, where you can see I have a tons of playlists with multiple non-repeatable tutorials in a playlist which cover almost all areas, all subjects inside the view and other 3D applications. So you can start forward and go to create your own sceneries. I will highly recommend for you to subscribe to my channel, because I have released 2, 3, 4 tutorials sometimes on a weekly basis. So a lot of content coming there. And if you subscribe, you just get notifications when new item will releasing on a website. But again, remember, go check on a Geekatplay website for all these new tutorials, YouTube, and of course on Patreon channel, where you can find all these new tutorials, unlock it and release it for Patreon support. Again, thank you for watching these tutorials, and if you have any questions, please remember, send me email or reach on YouTube or other channels. If you have any question, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.